What's going on, good people? Welcome to Unpopular Opinions with Sean King. I am, of course, Sean King. A few things I want to talk about. Um, the first thing I want to talk, well, this whole episode right here, I want to talk about independent women. Um, Independent women. What does that mean? What does the word independent? What does that phrase independent women mean? Well, first, independent means to be alone. So really independent is like someone not needing the assistance for livelihood or substance from another person. Um, so we have a lot of our black sisters out here that feel that they are independent, and that's like they carry that like a badge of honor. Um, that takes away from the man's role because, um, a man should be taking care of a woman. And of course, that's my opinion, but that's an opinion shared by most men. Um, let's go back. Let's find out how do we get there? How do we get here to where we're at right now? So years ago, um, after slavery, um, black people once granted freedom in this country and around the world. Um, we were together. We were family. We were one unit. So the husband or the man of the house, he went out. He took care of the finances. He worked. He hustled. He made money. He brought it home to his wife, and she provided for the home. She took care of the kids. She made sure they were respectful, made sure they were fed, clothed, and made sure the man was happy um, at home. Because the world can be tough on a black man. So when he gets home, he needs to find some sort of peace. So that's why only one person should be out there working. Because if a woman is out there working, she's taking on the burdens of the world. And when she gets home, how can she give you peace if she's stressed out? So that dynamic doesn't work. It doesn't work. If both the man and the woman is out there hustling, making money, yeah, there's a lot of money coming in. There's more money or twice the money coming into the home. But is that home going to have any peace in it? So after slavery, blacks, we had our own towns, our own communities. We had banks, we had schools, we had healthcare institutions, um, and we were a very strong unit. But this world that we're living in saw that as a threat. So they destroyed it. I mean, you've heard of Black Wall Street, you've heard of Tulsa, you've heard of Rosewood, Florida. You've heard of these things. If you didn't, just go check them out. So the government wanted to disturb these things, and then you had the civil rights movement, um, and blacks looking for more equality, and just wanted to be treated civil. So what happened is the as we were becoming a stronger unit, um, the government went to a lot of businesses and actually paid them to relocate out of the areas where blacks and minorities lived. Um, so if you look at some of the signs in the 60s, not all are addressing civil rights. Some are addressing just jobs, the 60s to the 70s. Some are addressing jobs. Where you had black men marching with a lot of, Hispanic men as well, saying we just want jobs. We want to work. We want to feed our families. But the government actually went in and took these companies and relocated them to suburban areas, to white areas, um, under the disguise of you would be better suited here, where it was really starving our black communities. So what happens when a man can't take care of his household? You're not really a man. So they the government then sends in these white women, usually, but they were like social workers, case workers. Um, they sent these women into the homes of these black women who had kids, and in these homes, they offered these women money for food, clothing, shelter. Um, in essence, they were telling the woman, "We will do everything for you that the man was doing, except for sleep with you or being an authority figure in your home." But we'll give you what you need to take care of your family, of yourself and your kids. But the only catch is you could not have a man in the house. There could be no man in the house. Now, me, you might want to guess my age, but I lived through this era. I lived through the era. I grew up in the projects, and I remember they used to yell up to the windows. I lived on the 5th floor in the South Bronx, and they would yell up in the windows, social worker coming, social worker coming. And I'm young, and I'm hearing this stuff, and I grew up with my grandmother, and she'd be like, hide this stuff, hide this stuff. And we had this, my grandmother had a boyfriend that actually he was a construction worker. But he went out and he worked and he found odd jobs. He didn't have a stable income, but he just went to construction sites and worked. He waited out there till they, got out there early in the morning, 5, 6 in the morning, waited till they said, okay, you can come work. And this is what he did. And he brought home what he could. But this is my grandmother's boyfriend. And her man, we called him Mr. Nat. And when they would yell up, social worker, she's coming up, we would have to hide Mr. Nat in the closet, put all his clothes on top of him, put our TV, we had a 13-inch black and white TV, put the 13-inch black and white TV in that closet, the toaster in the closet. We didn't have a blender, but we had a toaster and we had a 13-inch TV that we all looked at in the living room. This little TV. Nowadays people have 50 inches and better, 65, 85-inch TVs. But we looked at a family looked at a 13-inch TV, black and white TV, and we were happy with that. We were happy with Mr. Nat. We were happy with our grandmother. We ate good. We ate soul food. But we would hide this man in the closet, and this white woman would come up in there and search the entire house. Look in closets, look in cabinets, look in rooms, look behind shower curtains, and me being a kid, I would follow her around, being nosy. But when you're young, you absorb all of that stuff. So she would, and she did this to make sure there was no man in the household, and we didn't have extra things that we shouldn't have, because they knew on welfare you could not afford a 13-inch black and white TV. She just the government gave you just enough to survive, right? So this was indeed the welfare system that they set up our black women with, not the black men, the black women with kids. The welfare system. So this welfare, actually, they have a movie about it called Claudine. If you look at Claudine, the old 70s movie, Claudine, one of the best actors in it, oh man, I'm forgetting his name right now. But it'll come to me. It's somewhere in this, it'll come to me. He played Darth Vader's voice as well. Luke, I am your father. But anyway, so but you'll look up the actors of it. The young lady that started Claudine, she just died a couple of years ago. But that was a welfare system. So welfare and the government does a lot of things for black women that is supposed to be a pro to them, but no one talks about the cons of it. The cons of it, I'll get into in a second. But the pros of it is they'll give a black woman that has children, they'll give them shelter. So they'll give them an apartment. They'll find them an apartment. They'll give them money for food, money for clothing. They'll find them school. They'll make sure you put in school. If you have nothing, if you need an emergency shelter, they have all of these different shelters for women. It's hard to really find a good shelter for a man. But they have a bunch of shelters for women, for single women with kids. They have all these different welfare programs, like Section 8. Section 8, welfare, food stamps, Medicaid, healthcare, car fare. There's a bunch of them. But these are geared to help. They are geared to help the black woman. These things were never really set up for white women. The welfare system wasn't set up for white folks because white folks had money. They had jobs. They had businesses. They had property that their family had gotten from slavery. So welfare wasn't really for whites. Did whites use it? Yes. Actually, to this day, more whites are on welfare than blacks because their population is larger. But they use it. They use it to their advantage. And they use it as a stepping stone. Our people use it as a crutch. We get on welfare, and we sometimes refuse to get off of welfare because, well, it's not that we refuse to get off welfare. We refuse to better our lives because we think that if we do something better, that will our benefits will get cut. You know, I can't get this job, it's making too much money, because then they're going to cut my case, you know. So this led to women feeling that they were independent. But you're not really independent if someone is helping you. You understand? So that whole phrase of being independent is definitely not true. But it did push the black men out of the home. So now a lot of women will say things like, oh, the man left the home. He left us. He left his family. But they're not really seeing the other side of it. The other side is if a man feels that he's not needed, and he's being talked about, he's being talked down to, he's being ridiculed. If there's no love there, just because he can't find work, or he can't make enough money to make you happy, because let's face it, this country shines a lot. You know, they dangle a lot of shiny things in front of the eyes of us, a lot of things that we never had, that we now want. You know, so they'll dangle this stuff like a carrot in front of a donkey or in front of a horse. You know, keep chasing this carrot, keep chasing these diamond rings, keep chasing this gold, keep chasing this nice car, the new Mercedes. I think black people buy more Mercedes-Benz than any other people. All these fancy trips to Greece, all these places, all these Louis Vuitton bags, Gucci bags, they shine these fancy things in front of our women, mostly, and women want it. And, you know, I can't get mad at a woman for wanting nice things. I like nice things. Just most people like nice things. But if you can't afford it, and if it's out of your means, then you must come to that realization that there's more important things to get before you can get those nice, shiny things. That new car. If your car runs and you got a Honda, you got a Toyota. Well, Hondas ain't cheap anymore, but you got a little Toyota, you got a little Ford. If it runs, if it gets you around, the heat works, the AC works, it's not leaving you on the highway, you're fine. So that whole concept of being of wanting more and not really having it, because blacks, we are the poorest in the mindset in this country, in the world. Everyone surpasses us, you know. And I'm not talking about individually. You watching, you may be doing better than a lot of other people. You may be doing better than a lot of other blacks, a lot of other Hispanic people, a lot of other whites. But this is as far as the community goes. So, so now black women feel that they have this sense of independence because the government is helping them. Not all black women, but the majority of black women that has been helped through one of these programs. See, if you grew up in a loving household where your mother and father worked, and they made you work, they gave you a lemonade stand, and you went out there and started making money. You had garage sales. You started making money. You started doing hair on your own, and you never got welfare. You never went to a shelter. You never did this. And you know, you made enough money. You bought your own house. You bought your own car. You started your own business. You make your own money. You are an independent woman. You are independent. You are you maintain yourself. You know, your livelihood is covered by you. So you are indeed independent. If the government is helping you, you are an independent. It's just you're independent from that man, but you are dependent to that government. So you didn't grow up independent. You didn't start off independent. I know a lot of women that actually got pregnant when I was coming up. They got pregnant to have a kid just so they can get out of their mother's house. Just so they can get out of their mother's house. Because they knew that welfare and the whole welfare system was going to give them the things that they needed to get their own place. But they were unhappy because now you got your own place. You got your privacy from your mother, but now you can't enjoy your childhood or your young adulthood because you have a baby, and you don't even know how to raise this child. So, but that's another topic. So, you know, So that whole welfare system made our women kind of in feeling that they're independent. Um, and then you had the government pushing our black women forward. So now, if you look at a black man and a black woman, the black man is hunted. So from a young black man, he's not given the best education in school. But then he's taught go to school to get good grades, so you can get a good job, so you can work for people for the rest of your life. Then you retire, where you only have less than 10 years to live, and here enjoy this little retirement with 50% of your salary until you die, your last 10 years. That's no way to live. That is not helping. That is not making your family or yourself happy. Black women, on the other hand, but a lot of black men don't even get there. They're cut off early. They're hunted early. One of the ways they hunt black men is through the police, through unfair hiring practices. So a black man, it's hard for a black man to just walk, to have a high school diploma and walk into into a corporation and say, hey, look, my name is I don't know, Greg Sincere, and with his black skin, and say I'm looking for a job. I can answer phones. I can take messages. They don't give black men jobs like that, but they will give that job to a black woman. They will put a black woman in a position where she can make 30, 40, 50, 60, 80,000 a year answering phones. We don't have that. When black men went for jobs, they put them in a back office, in a mailroom, and there wasn't too many back there. Or you was a janitor. You was sweeping and cleaning, cleaning toilets, cleaning piss, cleaning shit, custodial work. Things that aren't attractive in a lot of people's eyes, even though a lot of today's custodians make a lot of money. But these aren't attractive positions. You understand? But the woman, her position as a secretary or a clerk or receptionist is appealing. No one looks down on a woman for having a job, for busting her ass. But she's just sitting there. She can look pretty. She can look sexy. So now the black woman has a position. She can go get a job almost anywhere, and continue with that independent mind frame of I'm doing it on my own. But again, are you doing it on your own? You're still working for someone, so that's not really doing it on your own. And that man can't help you because he wasn't afforded the same opportunity that you were. He cannot get that job the same way you can. It's just the case. That's what happens. So, but even before we get there, black men are hunted in the streets. So it's taking us off the streets. So the police chase us for everything. They look for us. They get behind our cars. They look to see if anything is wrong with the vehicle. If we're driving not so straight, if we didn't stop as soon as we could have, just to pull us over to give us a chance to give them a chance to find something to put us in jail for. Standing on corners, drinking a beer. Give us a chance to take us to jail and see if we have warrants to put us in the system. If you go around Yankee Stadium on any good game day, you'll see white men barbecuing on the side of the streets. They'll be drinking their beers. They'll be drinking their Jack Daniels. And no tickets are given. No one's arrested. No one's harassed. But black men in their own communities, you can't do these same things. You just can't barbecue on the side of the street. Fire department to come, the police department to come. You'll be given a ticket or arrested. You can't just drink out there. We used to have to run from the police. Just doing nothing, standing in the building, drinking a 40 ounce. Or we had a big bottle of Bacardi. Back when I was growing up, we wasn't drinking Hennessy. We were drinking Bacardi or Smirnoff with juice. And when the police come, we'd have to run. In the building that we lived in, not bothering anyone, not robbing anyone, not selling any drugs. We just have to run because the police came. So the whole thing of fairness in the workforce and in how we're treated by society is lopsided. So the black woman is treated better than the black man as far as society goes because she is not considered the threat. She's not the threat. See, the thing is you want to eliminate the man. If you eliminate the man, the woman is left alone and she's easier to conquer. So the threat has always been the black man. The black man has always been a threat. Never, never misconstrued as it's the whole black family. It's the whole black family in general. But if you destroy the man, you destroy the family. And that's what we have today. So, so that's kind of like the beginnings of the black woman becoming independent. Now, this is the whole thing. Do you want to be independent? Do you want to be by yourself? Independent is alone. Independent means to be by yourself. So do you really want to be independent? Do you really want to go out there and work and bust your ass and deal with your boss fucking with you? Your boss telling you, you can't go home to your kids right now. Your boss telling you, you can't go to your kids' graduation. Valentine's Day, you can't go out with your husband. You have to work. You have to work overtime. Are you tired? No, you have to stay here. I need you to do this. Do you really want to be out there stressing people, being around people that don't like you, riding the subways, being in traffic? It's a lot of stress just going to work. Then you get to work, it's a lot of stress. Then you got to leave that stressful environment, go home, and take care of your children or your household. Is that something that you really want? Wouldn't it be easier if you already had the money coming home to you and all you had to do was say, hey, baby, how was your day? And listen to that man? Now, not saying that a woman staying home is what she has to do. But as a man, taking care of my family, this is what I want you to do. I want you to be in a position where you're happy. Be home when I get there. I don't care what you do during the day. If you go to the beach, go to the beach. If you go shopping, go shopping. But be there when the kids get there. Be there in case the school calls and says, hey, the child is sick. Be able to run there and get the child. If me and you are both working, who's running to get the child? Whose job is more important? Whose job is less important? You understand? So, but this is something that you want? Go join a bridge club. But do you really want to be independent? Do you really want to have to go out there and bust your ass? You understand? Some things that we do and say puts us in a position to be miserable. You say you want to be independent, but you really don't want to be independent. Now you're looking at black men as worthless. I'm making my own money. I don't need no man for nothing. It's bullshit to say that you don't need a man for nothing, but then you get another woman with a strap on, a fake dick. That you need a man. The dick ain't real. You understand? But you need when your ceiling caves in from water damage, who's there? When the lights go out or the circuit breaker goes out, who's there? When your pipes bust, who's there? A lot of things are suited for men to do. Just because our bodies are different. Don't blame me, blame God. God made a man big and strong, and he made a woman soft and pleasurable. But men and women are equal. God made man physically strong. He made women mentally strong. So you got to use that mind in a capacity to make the house happy, and we use our bodies in a capacity to keep the house together. So but that's that whole independent mind frame, your way of thinking. Do you want it? But a lot of times we get into things and you got to revert back to how did it start? How did we get here? Don't just run with the baton because somebody gave it to you. It could be a member of the other team that gave you the baton. Now you took the wrong baton across the finish line that you think is the finish line. So who gave you that baton? Who gave you that badge of being an independent woman? You understand? A lot of these white feminist groups have pushed along the black woman. They've helped you get along. They made you join their club, their cause. A lot of times I'll see things out there, Black Girls Rock, or Independent Black Woman, Black Girls this, Black Woman that, Black girls are strong, Black girls this, Black girl, and I don't really see anything that's saying black men are strong. They're breaking down the man and lifting up the woman. And in the breaking down of the man, there is no family. So that whole independent thinking where you don't need a man is destroying your family for generations to come. Destroying your family. So now we're out here, we're at a place where our children are growing up in homes with no families. We have no communities. A lot of people are scared to go home to their own neighborhoods. There's no men there. You have women raising boy childs, and women are more emotional than men. Men are more logical than women. We both men and women both have logic and emotion, but it's how you're made to use them. Women use their emotions more and they react on their emotions more. Men use their logic more. They react on their logic more. So if a single mother, that single independent mother, is teaching her child to run on emotions, then your children run on emotions. So if your children run on emotions, they don't know how to survive in society. Imagine a black woman raising a young black boy on emotions. If the father's not there to teach him logic, like, if somebody bump you in the street and you pull out a gun and shoot him, you took away his life, but you took away your life too. And now your family's upset and hurt because you're gone. And even if you don't get caught by the authorities, by our oppressors, the streets may catch you. Somebody's angry that you took away their child, or their brother, or their friend, or their man, and they may get you. So a woman will teach you how to react on their emotions, when a man will teach you to sit back and think about what you're about to do. So this starts a cycle of men thinking that they're strong, but they're not. They're emotional. These men are emotional and they're acting on emotions. And women are emotional because they don't have the logic as well to act on their own. And their emotions is, I don't need a man. Because my mom ain't need a man, I don't need a man. I'm strong enough. I'm strong. Like you have all these independent women with the badge of, I'm strong. I can do this on my own. I don't need a man for anything. But our communities has proven to us that this frame of thinking has failed us. We are not together. And it's going to take a lot of unlearning, a lot of breaking away of that brainwashing, because we've been brainwashed. We've been taught to be a certain way. No one comes out of the womb thinking that they're independent. A woman comes out, a female comes out of the womb looking for a dick. A man comes out of the womb looking for a pussy. We are meant to be together. We are meant to be together mentally and physically. A man needs a woman and a woman needs a man. Neither one of us can be alone. It's miserable being alone or jumping from person to person for the rest of your life. You need some kind of family structure. You need some sort of community structure. How do we break the cycle? The only person that can possibly break the cycle is the black woman. She has to realize who she is, who she wants her family to grow to be, what she wants for herself, and then she'll possibly make conscious decisions to be loving, caring, soft, and dependent on her man. Next time I got you.